What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss last night's fight between Dan Ige and Sean Woodson, UFC 314. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly and help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. Dan Ige knocks out Sean Woodson in a controversial stoppage, right? You had them going back and forth throughout the fight. Dan catches him, and you see Sean trying to recover. He covers up. You see him moving. He's out of it, but he's not, he's recovering, right? And then the ref jumped in, stopped the fight. Wasn't a fan of the stoppage, It was one of those, though, where I had Dan up 2 rounds to none, and it wasn't looking good for Sean up to that point, but there was no reason to stop the fight and have a knockout loss on his record like that. Great fight. I thought it was really cool to see the mix of the length of Sean Woodson and his boxing. He's a sniper. That's his nickname, obviously. Excuse me, guys. Against, the short-statured Dan Ige, the heavy-hitting Dan Ige, who just marches forward and just throws bombs, technical bombs, crazy combinations. And, even though he's not a top 5 guy in the featherweight division, he's dangerous against anyone. He's got fucked over on some fights. I think it was the Josh Emmett fight and the Korean Zombie fight. I thought he won both of those fights. I don't know if it was Korean Zombie. It might have been Edson Barbosa. But it was one of those. It might have even been all 3 of those fights. And Dan, I think, honestly, is a super good featherweight. And as he's gotten older and as he's matured and as he picks his fights a little bit better, it's, he never loses steam with losses. But here, even with this win, I think it puts him right back into a spot where he can get a good opponent. And I think that Jeon Silva. I mean, Jeon Silva would be a fucking great fight. But Patricio Pitbull, I think, would be a great next opponent. I think Pitbull, he was tested against the number 5 guy, against Yair, failed the test. So you go against the number 15, number 14 guy. Okay, let's see him at the bottom of the ranked, right? And it's no disrespect to Dan, but I think that's a really good fight. I think the size too, the boxing, the power of both guys. I think Pitbull and Dan Ige would be a great fight, but also Jeon Silva and Dan Ige, I think, would be a great fight as well. As for Sean Woodson, just take a little bit of time off. You've lost no steam with this loss. You still were looking good, even though I had you losing 2 rounds to nothing. I think you're still looking good, putting on a good performance, still picking good shots and fighting long. And I think whatever you do moving forward, I think is going to be a good matchup for you. Maybe even a Bryce Mitchell. I can definitely see that happening. But nonetheless, I thought it was a great fight. Dan went out there and was able to kind of solve that puzzle of Sean Woodson that has been so difficult for a lot of his opponents so far within the UFC. But guys, that's going to do it for today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what's next for Dan Ige and what's next for Sean Woodson. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.